like herself. Generation, slow jams, conversation, late night stimulation. Call in, love session. Love session, Monday night.
Speaking of that, and like I was looking at the picture,
and we're on.
Oh,
it's on me.
And we're
so. Good evening, everybody out there. Morris Media Live. You are tuned in to U-Nation Radio's Love Sessions. I'm your girl, Akila Trinae, and we're here for another episode, situationship of Love Sessions. We're talking Black love today. I'm really excited. We've been off for a week, so we have so much that we want to get into, so we're just going to get right into it. Love Sessions is intellectual stimulation from 10 p.m. to midnight. Our conversation is devoted to bridging the conversation gap between men and women as a means to combat the war on relationships. We cover the topics that are often overlooked, unmentioned, and outright taboo to shed light on our insecurities and idiosyncrasies as a way to humanize the love experience. Our conversation is real, it's relevant, it's refreshing, and you're guaranteed to walk away from a show with greater insight of yourself and others around you. At the end of the day, we all echo the same sentiment. I need love. Class, you all, is now in session. So now I'm just going to kick it right on to the right to my girl, Sugarfoot.
Wow, that always comes so fast. I'm never quite prepared for, like, when you kick it over, I'm always like, what am I going to say?
That's what she said.
Auntie ways as he sips his wine. I'm going to go ahead and take it to our sponsors, which we should be drinking, that lovely Aqua Hydrate.
Yeah.
So shout out to them for sponsoring us.
Stay hydrated.
So, yes, Aqua.
You heard him right. Yeah, yes.
I was just about to say she got a good yes too.
All right. And then we'll since we are ending with her yes, we'll take it over to Revision Publishing. Shout out to them for being one of our sponsors. And as you guys see, check out her book Beyond the Hurt, which you guys can find on Amazon.com. She even got shouted out on Black Love, y'all. She real life famous.
Erica
Understand
Campbell.
her. Okay? Who?
Erica Campbell.
Oh, Mary.
She said it.
Mary, you know? All right. Anyways. And then we're going to go to our beautiful other sponsor, Dear Uzuri. Uzuri meaning beauty in Swahili language. Uzuri is spelled U-Z-U-R-I, which is a movement to encourage women to properly heal pain. Properly heal from internalized pain. So, dang, Charles, my bad. I'm bouncing back. And practice healthy communication. You guys can find them on Instagram at Dear Uzuri. Once again, it's spelled U-Z-U-R-I, as well as Facebook, Tangi Love Yourself Terry, or at Dear Uzuri as well. Also, guys, there is a event that they will have coming up that's going to take place Sunday, September 24th, 5:30 to 8:30. It's called, what is it called again?
Assume
the position.
Position.
Right?
I love the title.
And
Assume the
if you look at
I love the title. I'm about to say I love the title and the picture.
Right. That's her. That's Tangi.
She was.
Wow.
Oh shit. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, snap.
I don't like the picture. I don't like the picture.
Well,
you do like.
You didn't know that was
it
Tangi?
depends on what position they're trying to make you assume. I'm just saying.
Anyway.
Well, I think that she's trying to make you assume some curiosity.
I feel so dirty.
And that's the point. So she's talking about all things sex industry.
I'm sorry,
I think
Tangi.
it's going to be a really good event. I went to, I
don't feel weird to have to you now.
co-host of the last event, and the purpose is just to generate basically a conversation about some of these topics about, strip clubs, about pornography, about prostitution, about rape, about sexual habits and fantasies.
We need to bring Tangi back on.
And all types of stuff. And I think even after even after the event, it would be nice to have maybe like a follow-up episode, for us here like we did with the last time. I think that would be really cool. And she has some sponsors and stuff joining, so it's really cool. I'll be there. I'll be selling my book, Beyond the Hurt.
Whoop.
So she wanted to take it back to her, even though we was off her. So we're going to take it back off her. And then I guess, have to kick it immediately to Mr. Dance Hustle Charles Handy.
So if y'all are into social media, if that's your thing, then you can follow us on our social platforms. We do polls, we do hashtags, we do different things. So you can follow us on Instagram at the letter U Nation Radio. You can also follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram at shout out to my voice.
Right.
You heard that? So you can follow us on Facebook.
In case you didn't know.
You can follow us on Facebook at the letter U, once again, Nation Radio, and Twitter is UNation_radio. And we got a special guest in the building coming up, which is Vanessa Bell. But we got the honor and the privilege of having Detroit here during the rundown. So
in a row.
I personally wouldn't have put myself in the same breath as her, but you the man.
Right.
I'm just
you the
over
man.
here. I'm I got to call like I said. You pulled up on us.
I try to make a guest appearance every now and again.
Guest appearance. So I'm gonna throw it to Detroit, so he can break it down on how you can contact us and get in the mix.
Well, anyway, if you're in the business of calling in and calling folk, you can call us in at 323-293-3375. Again, that is 323-293-3375. My engineer is black. That man's black. She's black. She's black. I'm black. And today, if you're a black, we are, or any type of black, or if you ever had any type of black in you,
really,
we are talking about black love today.
If you got any black
love in general, but for our demographic, based on where we come from, we're talking about black love because a lot of us don't like to seek counseling. So we here to counsel each other today, and we're going to put some things out on blast. We're going to have some open and candid conversations, and we just going to get some feelings and things out there and express ourselves like we encourage all black people to do. Yeah. So, with that being said, I'm going to throw it back to my beautiful co-host.
Woo. I guess that's me.
Live.
One of them.
I'm hosting too, man.
I was about to say.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got two.
I literally just had to die real quick. I can't.
She's back, though. I'm glad that you came back because I need you here. So today is September 11th, and we know, as my principal so wonderfully pointed out, 16 years ago, there was an attack on our country, a terrorist attack on our country in New York, where the two planes went into the Twin Towers. And so we just want to send our thoughts and our prayers out to those families that were affected by that tragedy. I remember I was in high school.
I was just about to ask you. Do you remember where you were when that happened?
Exactly where I was. And what's funny is I've gone to a couple of different workshops where they do like reflections of certain things that have happened in life. And, when they talk about presidents who were maybe assassinated before my time or certain things, Princess Diana, like I feel like things that I wasn't necessarily connected to, but that definitely is one that resonates with me. And that now I feel kind of old when I'm talking to the students because they were like some not born or just babies, when that happened, because like I said, it was 16 years ago. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy because it seems so long ago now, like 16 years. Wow.
It was hella long ago.
And, the unfortunate thing is, fortunate and fortunate. We live in a great country. These are not necessarily the greatest times, but I feel like when tragedy strikes, we do know how to get back to the humanity of it all and band together, like with the hurricanes that are happening. Again, our thoughts and our prayers go out to the families that have been affected by Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and those who may have been affected by Hurricane Katia. those
And
affected by the earthquake in Mexico. We have a lot of stuff going on in our world. And the best thing to do if you want to support is to really look up some organizations that get to the grounds of where people can be helped. I know before we gave information for the Red Cross, I know some people have their issues and qualms with that. But if you can find organizations that can get that money directly to people who are in need, that would be the best option to do. So you may have to do a little extra research. But if you don't feel like doing research and you just want to be able to give, then give to the Red Cross.
I remember being in 11th grade, and I was either walking from class or we were at nutrition.
What year did you graduate?
02.
So you were in the 10th grade. I mean, you were in, okay. Because I was in the 11th grade too. So I don't see how that's possible. I graduated in 2003 unless you held back.
It was, what year, what year was it?
2001.
Yeah, I graduated 02.
Right. So then you were...
I got there in 98. I graduated
September
02.
though, 2001.
September 2000.
You would have been a senior.
Senior, okay.
Okay.
Whatever, I just...
Okay, unless you were held back, that's all I'm saying.
I graduated 02, that's all that matters.
Okay.
And then I remember it being kind of hector-skelter where it was like, first we were on lockdown, and then they let it go. And then kids were just randomly leaving the school. People were hopping the gate.
Oh,
you know
that's odd.
You know, to get outside. And then what really confused me was people were hopping the gate to get inside. And then a teacher was like, call your parent. And so I called my grandma. I'm like, what's going on? She was like, there's been an attack. There's been a terrorist attack. So I'm like, what does that
mean?
Yeah. I'm like, what is that?
Me.
You know, so I'm like, is the house okay? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's another earthquake. She was like, not quite, but...
Why does he sound 5 talking to his grandmother? Like, you said you were a senior.
That's how I've always
I'm
been.
not gonna play with her.
I've always been a child talking to my grandma. Like literally, she's been a child of me. So I'm like, Granny, do you want me to come home? And then she was like, no, it's best that you stay there. And she was like, there's no point in you coming home. She's like, it's not going to reach us. It was across the world in New York. And I was like, oh, okay, why is everybody scared here? And then she was like, well, because you never know what's going to be happening. Then that scared me. And I'm like, well, I want to come home and be with you. She was like, no, I got to go work. And my grandma worked. My grandma was a pianist and a singer. So she did mortuaries. So she always played piano. So she was like, you don't want to come with me because there's a lot of people dying and I'm going where the dead folk are. So you can come, but it's going to be a cold place. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, and she knew I hated the mortuary because I did a lot of my homework at the mortuary. So I was like, nah, Granny, you good. I was like, I'm going to stay, I'm going to watch the football team today. And then she was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll be home late. So, but I remember exactly where I was, and there was a lot of people scared.
Yes.
It was really hector-skelter. It was just all over the place. Like there was only one other time I seen school like that, and that's when there was a riot over a Snicker. We'll say that for another day.
Right.
I was like, hold on, we gotta cut from that.
So I did have on here to talk about the season finale of Power, but we can come back to that just for the sake of time. It was great. Had me.
Who did you see it? You did you see it?
No.
Y'all should be happy. I'm this close to finishing Insecure. Okay?
Right. Well,
I'm close.
We're not even going to talk about that one today.
Exactly.
I didn't see it, so we can't talk about it.
But we're not going to talk about it.
Let's
go.
I
was about to say I didn't see it, so we can't talk about it.
But I do want to say that. So over last week, I had a birthday. No need to clap.
Happy
for me.
birthday!
Happy birthday to you.
But the point of the matter is.
Okay.
I had a very jam-packed weekend, which was very, very exciting, but it ended and topped off last night. I was able to go to the Def Comedy Jam 25th anniversary event.
That's dope.
At the Beverly Hills.
Okay, now, time out. I think I saw pictures of you there.
Well, so he Charles, commented on one of my pictures like, "Oh, you were there," and I was like, "Charles is everywhere, like goodness."
Okay.
But I didn't see him. He did the carpet. I didn't do.
Okay, that's all that mattered to me because I was like, if you got there by way of him,
no, I got there.
This show's over.
by way of the layman's way.
Because I've been watching Def Comedy Jam for the longest. I'm like, so you couldn't invite everybody.
But so no, I saw it and because I got an email about it, and I was like, oh no, I have to go to this because I absolutely love comedy. Like
I'm with you.
Hands down, love comedy, love comedians. Eddie Murphy's my favorite. He was not there, but it's
Everybody
okay.
else was
right,
but he didn't do. He was
Kevin Hart wasn't there either, which I was a little bummed about.
Yeah, but I'm saying he wasn't. Kevin Hart didn't. It was like mostly alums, like straight people.
Right. No, but Kevin Hart did. He did do Def Comedy Jam, but
it wasn't when it was.
Remember, they had like the old, and then they had the revamp.
He did the revamp.
I think but it wasn't the OG Def Comedy
Jam. Where you have Martin and you be like, look, tell me this. I was doing this. I was asking people the whole night. So tell me this. I want y'all to finish this sentence. All right, are y'all ready for the next comedian?
That's when the opening.
Look, come on, I can't believe y'all.
I've been drinking. Hold on.
Look, are y'all ready for the next comedian? Damn, is he funny? That was the opening for one of. Anyways.
I'm thinking some way different.
So
that was my joint.
Technically, when Def Comedy Jam came out, my parents would not allow me to watch it because of the content that was on there. So my sister and I would go and sneak. Like when
are you dry snitching?
What?
Are you dry snitching
on myself?
And your sister.
I would think she's on it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is
your parents watch this show. That's what matters.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It do matter. You've deceived her.
Parents call in and tell her.
Right. you ain't beyond the whooping.
But look, they also recorded it on VHS tapes that they put in the.
It don't matter. That's for their content. We would watch Pornos used to be recorded on VHS too, and I couldn't touch that box.
Look, let me tell y'all what happened.
He just went on.
So y'all know that. I was talking about Diddy before on the show. I said, we need Diddy's dollars, right? Yeah. So I had a Diddy experience. So I told you I went as a layperson. So I went as a seat filler, right? So, I was in there and I just wanted to have a seat where I could sit in and just chill for the rest of the day and not have to worry about anything. But I had to go fill a seat. And so they sent me across the room to fill this one seat. I didn't know it was Diddy's seat until after I realized I was sitting next to Lorianne, and then other people were coming back to seat, but he wasn't there. So now I'm the only seat filler at this table of people that I really probably shouldn't be there. So I'm just like, okay, I'm nervous. I want to go back to my seat because I was more comfortable there. So anyway, Diddy comes back, and he's behind me like this, right? And they're like, oh yeah, she's a seat filler, whatever. He's like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm not tripping, she can go ahead and sit there. And then all of a sudden he was like, nah, you can just sit here with me. We chilling. So then he sits down next to me. So now we're sharing the chair. And he's half on the chair and I'm half on the chair. And I'm like, okay, I don't really think this is supposed to be happening either. And then Lorianne's looking at me like, well, don't you want to leave? Like, don't you want to go? And then she scooches over and she lets me share a part of her chair. So now I'm really just sitting there like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do now. Like, I don't know if this is part of the plan.
So you didn't say nothing to Diddy?
I want to say,
you didn't get your business card?
No, that's against the rules.
Okay, I ain't never been a seat filler.
That's against the rules. Whatever. And I didn't. I expected him to be rude, to be honest.
Wait, is your woman charm against the rules?
Are you kidding me? Charm? You better turn.
Well, obviously my woman charm was there because he shared the seat. He could have been like, "Girl, get out my seat."
Okay, but you're supposed to induce a conversation.
Right. That ain't charm.
If you sit next to I don't know, Kid Capri, shout out to him.
He was on.
You let him be. You let him be.
Yeah, he could chill. You sit next to that. You sit next to that.
Diddy.
I mean, we was chilling like this.
Did you slide some Ciroc to him? That would have got his name. That got his attention.
The fact is, she was sitting this close to Diddy and said nothing.
Not a damn.
Well, all right.
I'm not thirsty like that.
No, not saying.
Nobody said that. I'm asking you to be.
I was thirsty.
I'm asking you to be crafty.
He had on the table.
I'm asking you to be crafty. It's the difference between being cheesy and thirsty.
That aqua hydrate he had on the table.
All right, here you go.
To the chairman, but I would just say, that man could change.
No, he was cool.
He could change your life at a snap of his wrist.
And if you snapped in the waterfall.
Snap of his finger. But so I had an amazing. I got to tell y'all, I told this story on my morning meeting this morning, but it's like I had a surreal experience. I went to an event with this Ninjago. It was a Ninjago movie. It's a kids movie. You're kids, Ninjago, right? So, anyways, it's a Lego Ninjas or whatever, right? So, my boy Darren at Allied Media, shout out to them. They had this whole back to school Ninjago event, and it happened to be at Jane Fox's house. So, I was like, I was tripping, this Saturday. I was thinking,
did you go to the studio?
I was thinking,
did you see the studio?
I didn't go to the studio. I got on the list. I go to the event. I thought I was just like going to see a screening. Ends up being like a crazy event at Jane Fox's crib, and lo and behold, out of everybody that would happen to be there, Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West is in the building.
Kanye before.
Yo, that was like the most illest experience. I walked past him. I'm like, yo, I got my kids. He got his kids. So, you know, we over here. They got the ninja. They're at this area. First, I walked past him. He's just chopping it up with people or whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. Then our kids, they had this little designated area in the grass where the kids are doing this little circle, and all the parents bring their kids and they're doing ninja yoga or whatever, right? So I'm like, yo, this is going to be crazy. Like, our kids could be end up playing together or whatever, right? So, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, my son and my nephew, they just run off. They're like, we ain't doing this ninja yoga thing. You know what I'm saying? So they run off and play with something else. So I was like, all right, still got my daughter. She, all right, my daughter could see. You know what I'm saying? She might want to play with his daughter. So I don't know. So like, hey, I'm like, you know, I was, you know, do the ninja yoga thing. You know, there's the teacher is trying to show him she not really with it, but so I'm like, all right, it's all good. You know, we're not gonna have this whole kid embrace. Oh, like, hey, look at our kids, they're playing together. You know, like, anyways,
captured on
I was like, all right,
media.
I was like, maybe I'll get a selfie or whatever. But one dude got a selfie, you know what I'm saying, and then after the dude got the selfie, I was like, cool, he's being chill. Maybe I'll give me a selfie. And then like literally right after that, he kind of just picks up his daughter, and it was like, and then I was like, you know what, I think I missed my window. You know, I'm gonna let him live. I'm gonna be, because we're all in this positive kind of energy. And it's like, I think I could describe it the best way. Like, if you ever see like a gazelle in the woods or something, and you're just like watching it be in his own habitat, you just like, yeah, I'm just like,
it's
I'm letting you.
It's the reason why I wasn't all up in Disney.
Yeah. It's a moment in time.
You a girl.
And use his
yeah, I'm about to say it definitely isn't applicable.
It is,
but I get you.
And it was we weren't sharing a seat or anything. So I don't know, it's not the same.
And you have a whole hour or whatever it was.
As it goes on, the story gonna change. I'm gonna be like, I was sitting in Diddy's lap, and then he was like.
But yeah, so that was a dope experience, and shout out to them. And then I just missed the last 9/11. Just to say, you know, rest in peace, and shout out to everybody that helped the 9/11 that was affected by it, but also people that was helped part of the rescue team. Mm-hmm. You know, I also did an interview with a brother, Danny. Damn, I can't remember. I gotta remember his name, but he did a shoot with Jay-Z in front of Twin Towers, and so he's a dope photographer. And I did an interview with him. Also, I'm a veteran, so I ended up going to Iraq and served in the military in 2003. And so that was, you know, directly, you know, we went to Iraq because of 9/11. So, you know, it's something that directly affected me in that way. I remember being in my bed and just being asleep at home, not really knowing about what was going on, and just like, that changed my life, because all of a sudden, fast forward, you know, 2003, I'm in the Army. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a crazy time in America in general, and you know, we all lived through that, and that's something that our kids will only hear about, just like Pearl Harbor probably is to us, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I thought about too. Like, growing up, you always wondered what Pearl Harbor was, and then we have 9/11, which wasn't the equivalent to Pearl Harbor, but. Yeah.
But it's just something, you know, you read about it, you hear about it, you know the date, you know, it's just something that happened in American history. But it was an attack on our soil, and just rest in peace to everybody that was affected by it. And just, you know, what can I say?
Well, what I will say is, I know that Labor Day, before Labor Day, on that Sunday, the three of us had an opportunity to attend.
No, the four of us had the opportunity. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we attended Robbie Reed's end of the summer celebration event. It's okay.
Time out, but because I hit her like Robbie Reed, like who the.
No, he did. Like
I'm not. I had no clue. I didn't know.
He didn't know.
I still don't know. I'm waiting for them to figure out
the three of us. But what you can do is you can watch, because instead of us talking about this one, we're just going to show you. So shout out to my editing skills. I'm about to be at Revolt taking Charles' job.
Whoa.
Don't you join me? You can join the wave.
She done found out how to work the laptop. She in there.
Right.
You ain't got to take the wave. You can join the wave.
Right. Crabs at the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
Yeah.
I
it can
can't
only be one. Highlander. It's like the Highlander.
I can't help myself. I'm black.
Yeah, y'all old people.
But yeah, it was an awesome event. So check out this clip.
Oh.
This is New Nation Radio. Monday night love session.
Hi everyone, Sugarfoot here from New Nation Radio's Love Sessions. We're here at Robbie Reed's 14th annual Summer Bash celebration. We're here, it's hot, but we're gonna get some amazing time with these lovely celebrities and make sure that they know what Love Sessions is.
Hi, it's Robbie Reed, and we're at the 14th annual Sunshine Beyond Summer Celebration, benefiting the Reef for Hope Foundation, which is my foundation, a charity 501c3 that promotes healthy living and healthy lifestyles.
I do believe in love at first sight, because you can get those butterflies, but then kind of the process of falling more deeper in love is exactly that, the process.
I think Black love is amazing. I think it's something that's going to continue to keep our communities strong. I think this nation has done all that it has tried to do to keep Black love from existing, and that it's up to us to cultivate that and keep our marriages together, keep our families together, and love our children. And if we do that, then a lot of the problems that we see in our community, I really believe that they can be healed through Black love.
Okay,
we're getting ready to start our 22nd season on Judge Judy. So needless to say, we've had a lot of shows where a lot of people ain't in love no more. And when love goes sour, here's a piece of advice that the judge has given me, and I want to give to everybody. You know, if you ain't married, don't commingle all your funds and all your stuff, because if it don't work out, believe it or not, it's not that easy to split up, because, you know, somebody wants to know, I want that table, I bought that TV, I bought half the car. So, you know what? If you ain't married, don't commingle your stuff, you know? Get married, then commingle.
Us both being Olympic athletes, we definitely know, the whole idea of being focused on our dreams and training and dedicating ourselves to what we do. So I definitely think it's important for you to find somebody that understands, what you're doing, and so that you guys can work together and they both support you also. They support your dreams, and we do that for each other.
Monday night.
Yes, that was our event from Robbie Reed, the Robbie Reed situation event. But again, if you want to call in, which is at 323-293-3375, again 323-293-3375, you can call in, because we do have our guests coming right up. And so, since we do have that, we are going to go into a quick commercial break. Poe, to cue us up. Yeah. house. We in there.
And we are back, and if you can see, we are joined by our beautiful guest, Miss Vanessa Bell Callaway.
What up?
And so I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about her, just in
now,
case.
What are you saying, child?
I got you.
Hey, she about to give it to you.
Did you get off the internet?
She the best we got.
Okay. Oh well, y'all should have sent that to me first, so I can see what you say.
But you just refute as we go along.
Let me read it, huh?
So look, making sure I'm saying good
you
stuff.
just say clear your throat as we go.
Because y'all be like, all you gotta do is call assistant and say what you want, how you want to be introduced. That's what you do. FYI, you say how you want to be introduced.
Yeah.
And then I tell you,
well,
don't nobody want to hear all this. This is way too long. Number one.
And she's really good at what she does.
Don't nobody hear this. But go ahead, and I'm gonna stop you when you got some old stuff. But go ahead. Let me shut up. I'll correct you. I'll correct you when need
next
be.
time, that was a good catch right there.
Yeah. You always ask people how you want to be introduced.
Yeah.
What pictures you want to be used.
Right.
You did ask me about the picture, but you didn't ask me how I want to be introduced.
About the intro.
Charles, we gonna blame it on
That's the
Charles.
first question I asked. What do you want to convey and how you want to convey
it?
Sometimes I like to do my
because you might get. I mean, I try to be up on it, but shit, I'm okay. I'm only one person.
Say what you got to say.
So my website may be a little bit behind me.
Right.
Thank God I do work, so I can't keep up sometimes with the new stuff. But go ahead, boo boo.
I definitely didn't want to go from Wikipedia.
Girl, I really choked you down. I would have choked you down.
We ain't
like
friends
1980s.
Right.
It would sound like I ain't worked in 100 years. Go ahead.
We can't do this no more.
Vanessa Bell Callaway is a stage, screen, and television actress who's earned 8 NAACP Image Awards nominations.
Yeah, that's
she
right.
won the NAACP Theater Award for Best Actress for her critically acclaimed role as Zora Neale Hurston
that's right.
in Letters from Zora. A character actress in demand, Vanessa is best known for her roles in the box office smashes Coming to America, What's Love Got to Do with It, Biker Boys, Love Don't Cost a Thing, Daylight, The Inkwell, Crimson Tide, The Brothers, Cheaper by the Dozen, and she voiced the lead female role in the animated feature Bebe's Kids. Callaway is currently starring in Bounce TV's new hit 1-hour drama Saints and Sinners.
Oh yeah, I see you coming up with some old stuff, so I'm gonna stop you when you get here. Keep going. Yeah, Saints and Sinners. Yeah, I'm doing Saints and Sinners right now. And then also you'll know if you saw Southside with You, where I played the first grandmother. But what you don't know is I have 2 new movies I just did this summer. See, that's in the new bio. That
See?
Charles.
Charles. Mr. Dance Hustle. All right.
So y'all just gonna join.
That's him, the Raider fan. Yeah, them that one.
Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn.
Okay.
And then I'm in another movie. I'm in another movie called what's it called? See, I'm sorry, I just did.
It's so many.
I'm sorry. Redemption.
Redemption.
Okay. Yeah, and it's a Universal picture, and it's gonna be like
I've seen that.
Jolie. She did that whole redemption thing. Yeah. Unbroken. This is Unbroken. This is like another story about this other famous guy who was a big. He's Italian, but he was a big Olympic winner. I don't know everything to tell you. I didn't work with that character. So I just talk about what I did. But anyway, and then I did this black horror movie this summer, which was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Can't think of the name of it right now. But yeah, okay. So what else you got?
See, we don't even need that.
We got you
They know who you are. They know who you are.
That's enough. And I've been on a lot of stuff. I've returned on a lot of things. I've been on a lot of stuff.
And right now you're on Black Love.
Right.
And my husband and I we were in the inaugural Black Love, because what's interesting is Cody and her husband Tommy. Cody is friends with my daughter Ashley, and they were just like starting this. They were just trying to see what could happen. Yeah. And they were interviewing a lot of couples, and they came to us and said, "Hey, would you do it?" We said, "Of course." They're so cute, but it's so funny when they came to interview us at our home. They were getting ready to get married literally in like about a couple of weeks.
Wait, so she's your daughter?
No. She was friends with my daughter.
Okay.
Follow me. Keep up, boo-boo. I move fast.
I'm trying to do what I can when I can, how I can.
But anyway, they literally were like, it was so cute. They were like engaged. They were getting married in like 2 or 3 weeks when we met them. They got married and now they have a baby. That's how long it took.
They mentioned, they said they didn't know what we were doing. They're like,
but it was a couple of years, but they knew they were doing what they did. which a lot of people should do. They had an idea and they pursued it. They took their own money, their own revenue, their own whatever, and ideas, and they did it themselves. And they went around and they got all these couples that whoever said yes, they interviewed them, and then they took their time. Because what people don't realize is it takes time. It took them 2 years to get this program on the air, and people don't realize that. It just doesn't I got an idea and I'm gonna be famous next week. It doesn't happen like that. So they did the due diligence, whatever they needed to do, and I'm so happy we were part of the inaugural, series. So they interviewed us, they interviewed a lot of people, and then OWN saw it, loved it. The rest is history. They got to pick up for more shows. I'm just so happy for them.
You know what it reminds me of?
They should get you, Charles, and your wife.
It reminds me of a more in-depth version or real version of Married at First Sight.
I didn't see Married at First Sight, but
which was real, but it doesn't get enough of the negative nuances that you have to give through to survive a marriage.
Well, I think that they asked the questions because I know the questions that we're coming back up in episode 4. We were in 1, and I'm told we're in 4 because episode 2 was the hard times, and so they asked the questions, but you can't expect that each couple is going to have tremendous horrible stories. Right. Yeah. I mean, you want those because it's great TV as a producer, but. My husband and I mean, it's very boring, but it's very true.
29 years.
29.
Right?
We just had 29 years, September 3rd.
Happy
Thank you.
Amen.
And one of the reasons we're still married is because we don't have drama. That's just not us. We've never, ever called each other out of our names. We've never been we don't do that. Right. He's never called me anything other than Vanessa or baby or sweetie, and I have never done the same. Yeah. Not to say we don't get mad with each other, but we deal with it differently. We've never yelled in front of our children.
You're compatible.
Yeah.
Disagree, should I say?
Yeah, we disagree, and we agree to disagree. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But everything's mutual.
And I went in the end anyway, because a happy life is a happy wife.
Right. What is that? Is that does that work the other way?
A happy life is a happy wife.
Does it work? What about the husband? That's what he's going to say.
No. Well, because you know what? I make my husband's life so easy. See, I'm an old-fashioned diva. He don't do nothing, and guess what? He ain't got to. Because the one thing he do is he get up every morning. The clock go off at 4:30. He get up, either he works out before, or sometimes he goes right to surgery. That's why he ain't here tonight, because he in bed, because he got surgery in the morning.
Work to do.
Okay? And that man gets up with a smile on his face. He's never complained. I've been with him over 30 years. I've been with him half my life. We've raised 2 daughters. He's never complained about work. He even told me that it brings him joy to go and do for us. Right. So he gets up and he does what he needs to do what we need to do. So the one thing he ain't got to do nothing around that house. That's just how I do it. That's just me. I'm kind of old-fashioned.
And that makes sense.
You know, what about all right? So you cover, you go in there, you cover a lot, and I want to say,
can I drink on camera?
Absolutely. It's a
cheers.
Yeah,
I
need to drink.
We need to bring this closer to you.
But I was gonna say,
no, we good now.
You first of all, I would like to say I appreciate you so much for coming by. And
it took us long enough, Charles. And I was trying, y'all. It's just that every time I was out of town a lot.
Look, you working
out of town a lot.
It's a pleasure. You here. This is we present in this moment, so I appreciate you.
Good. That's a good way of putting it.
You're part of our childhood.
And all
right, we ain't gotta go there now. Don't make me too old.
Come on, bro.
I'm old. I'm sure
on a good track right now.
I got birthed all y'all.
So, but no. On top of that, you got to see her sexy and 60 party, because that was it was that. I mean, I was so amazed. It looked like a 35-year-old party with everybody.
Bro,
I was like, for real.
How you think my daughters were born? I don't know why y'all think people. I don't know why y'all think people over whatever age y'all think. All of a sudden you just go somewhere to the pasture and sprinkle down and die.
There is people. We not us, should I say? We, especially you. I feel like you found the fountain of youth. You probably just don't want to tell anybody else.
No, I just lived the way I've always lived.
Mm-hmm. My grandma, I remember, she gave me advice about a girl, and I was like, Granny, what do you know? Right? And she said, boy, you don't know. When I was younger, I was a looker, and her mother. There was a picture of her. I don't know if you ever seen Beyonce with a gold afro, but there's a picture of my great grandmother that looks just like Beyonce, and I was like, wow, but I couldn't fathom it. So I know who you are, and I know how you looked when I saw you, and I'm like, and you still fine now. So I'm like, Okay, Granny, you probably was a looker. You know what I'm saying? Because as a kid, you can't believe that. You can't see past.
When you're a kid, you're looking at your grandmother.
You can't. You're right. That's what you see. You can't see past your grandmother.
Funny story. I used to call my grandmother baby, and I'm so much like my grandmother. The older I get, because baby Genevieve, baby, she was something, honey. But Genevieve, this guy, when I was little, I called her baby, because I heard this guy say, "Hey, baby, hey, baby." Hey baby, hey baby, and I thought that was her name.
And that's how they talk to you.
So no, that's how they talk to her. So I called her baby for years until my cousins and everybody teased me, and then I felt embarrassed. And she loved that name that I called her, because I thought her name was baby, because all the dudes was like, "Hey baby," because my grandmother was.
It'll keep you young and vibrant.
Genevieve was something, baby. She was out there. She
was living her life. Hey, grandma gotta have a life too, right?
My grandma had.
She had a life.
No, she had one, baby. She got just too old and just finally had to sit her ass down. Yeah. But Genevieve was something else.
I believe it.
I want to say though, this is a basic question, but what is black love to mean to you?
It's funny you say that, because I was looking at the show and I was trying to figure out why black love and why not just love. But what I think is makes it different is that, in a black relationship, we have so many other things that we have to deal with. A black woman needs to know how to deal with a black man. And not that a white woman doesn't know how to deal with a white man, but a black man coming out of our homes every day has a different set of circumstances. He has a different, journey than a white counterpart. Like, especially when you marry a young black man. Like my husband and I met, he was 26, I was 29. Mm-hmm. He was still young. I mean, my husband was a doctor, but he got a little hood in him. Mm-hmm. So this shit could have gone left a couple times. Right. Mm-hmm. And, you got to know how to deal with that kind of man, because a black man going to do what he got to do to survive and for his family.
Where were you at in your career at that time?
Oh, when I met my husband, I was just fresh off of All My Children. Okay. So people knew me as Yvonne on All My Children, and he was a medical student.
Were you like, you were like a known people?
Well, I was kind of known. I wasn't like super famous, but
if you watch it, which came on behind Days of Our Lives,
right? No, before Days of Our Lives.
As the World Turns.
As the World Turns is a different station. But anyway,
Young and the Restless.
No, that's a different station.
They was all in line. I'm saying if you watched all the stories,
but people, but All My Children, people knew All My Children. Yeah. And that was like the break that I got that put me on TV, because I had done other things before that, but that was one of the things that like really put me out there. So when he met me, he didn't know. My husband's still clueless about a lot of things. So he was like, he didn't know. And I liked that. He had no clue who I was.
It was genuine.
He thought I was cute, and he liked my booty, and he liked the fact that I was chocolate. So
that's all that matters.
That's what I like. He liked me for the right reason. He had a sweet tooth.
Hey.
And I thought he was cute. And I didn't even know he was studying to be a doctor. I just thought he was cute to me. So it just, thank God, it just all.
Because it seems like when I see you two together, it seems like, I feel like part of y'all magic is that he's does his thing, he's complete, he's in his lane. Y'all might do the events, do the whatever, and then you're, as an actress, you are able to go around and say, hey, my husband's a doctor. You know what I'm saying? But you don't.
But they're so far opposite worlds.
He's successful in his field. You're successful in your field, and that now you guys can come together and empower each other.
We do each other. He does him. I do me. We do the kids. Mm-hmm. So meaning, like a lot of times, he and I just do us together. Mm-hmm. When he wants to do whatever, hey, I'm going, I'm doing. I say, okay, bye. I say, hey, I'm leaving. Boom, bye. Then we take the kids and we do them. Mm. But the one thing I think that people have a misconception about marriage is like, you do not become that other person. Whoever you fell in love with, you got to allow them to continue to be that person. And more importantly, you've got to understand that love changes. Mm-hmm. And if you can't change with love, you're going to get in trouble at some point.
Changes.
What do you mean? It changes.
What do you mean by that?
Because, the person that is insatiable. When you first meet, y'all screwing like rabbits. It's insatiable.
I gotta have you.
Then, a kid or two come and be like this. Yeah, I'll get back to you in a minute. That don't mean I don't love you. That just means,
not right now.
Right. And not even sexual, just like, whatever. But it changes. And you've got to, that's why it's important for you to be your own person, do your own thing. Then, then you'll come back, you like this, all of a sudden you look at this person like, oh my God, he is so cute again, all of a sudden. Like, you've been with him for 10 years, but all of a sudden there's a period where you just can't keep your hands off of him again. And everything is this and everything is that. Then it gets in, and then the real trick, the real test, is when you start getting older and shit really starts to change. Bodies change, physicalities change, you get different ailments change, jobs and positions change, life changes. And if you can't hang in there for the long haul and still be friends, see, that's where it comes down to. Can you still laugh? Can you still hang out with each other? Just the two of you get in the car and spend the day because we go in here, then we go in there, then we go in this, we're doing that? Do you always have to be surrounded by a bunch of friends in order to get along? Or can you do friends sometimes and do each other a lot of other times? Can you still travel together?
Right.
And just go to a deserted island and have fun? You know, that's when you know about your love, because I promise you, the love, the puppy dog love that you have when you first meet that person is not going to be that love 20, 30 years. It's going to be, you're still going to love it. I love my husband more today than I did 30 years ago when I met him, but it's very different. But if you would have told me that the man that I married 29 years ago, who I thought was fantastic then, and who I had the greatest hopes for, was going to be an even better husband and father than I ever could imagine.
You couldn't picture it?
Well, no. I mean, of course, that's what I was hoping. Yeah. I was rolling the dice for that. At that time, I was told you it was we going to die to death do we part. Right. But how many people say that and it lasts 10 years?
Right.
Well, now, I was going to ask you, do you feel like you're able to be surrounded by other successful marriages as well, or do you feel like your relationship is an anomaly?
Not relationship is mine. I'm going to be honest with you. When you run up against other successful marriages, that's nice, and you party with them, whatever. But we have a lot of friends that we got married together, got divorced. So you can't base your relationship on your friends,
right?
And what they doing.
How does that affect your friendship?
It does. That's interesting because it does affect your friendship because the couples. I've been in a situation now where I've dropped a couple girlfriends, not because I wanted to, but because, you know, they got divorced, and they made me feel like they didn't want to be my friend no more. So it's like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it does change because your friends get divorced.
It's probably hard for them to hang out with you.
As one of my girlfriends told me, see, people say what they mean, even though they think they plan. Something went down, and I came into a group of my girlfriends hanging out,
quote unquote joking.
Where I was like, oh, y'all having this all of a sudden it was like the Single Hearts Club, where I thought all these women are invited to my house all the time for every party. But I kind of happenstance on them doing a solo thing, and just so happened everybody was single.
Right.
And I go like, oh, well, I clearly was, because you married. And I was like, oh, really? Don't penalize me because I'm still married.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Don't penalize me because I'm still married.
Yeah.
But when we was all married, it was cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But now that you divorced from your husband and y'all get clandestine meetings.
Right.
But anytime I have a party, all y'all invited. Yeah. But now y'all doing stuff and I'm not invited. So it's like, cool.
Misery loves certain company.
And you're a great host.
Misery loves company.
Can I just say this? You're also a great host.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, just all her events, top to the notch, I like to be at all the bougie stuff.
No, I'm unapologetically bougie, baby. I'll tell you. They were drinking out of plastic cups, and I said, darling, I need a glass. Wine.
Let me upgrade you.
In a plastic cup.
Let me upgrade you.
I'm sorry, child. Y'all gonna learn. Put some glasses up in here. You can get something from Target. They real cheap. Go ahead.
I had a girlfriend one day. I did that. She was like, her mom was like,
it ain't the same. I can't lie. It ain't the same.
It ain't the same, baby.
But I do want to say, with Obama is I always say Obama and Magic and Cookie, and I just recently saw you at Magic and Cookie. Those are my
Magic and Cookie, good dear friends.
Yeah, those are my black love couples, that I see that inspire me, and also you and your husband. 30 years is a long time.
You should inspire yourself. You got a great marriage.
Yeah, we got 5 years. We're getting to that point. And when I seen Obama and Michelle, I just was so. To me, it affected me in a way that I felt like I could do it. Like, I felt like I could reach that high. Like, he's in the highest level as a black man, the highest level that we've ever achieved as black people. And most times when I see that, a lot of times when you're in that type of position as a black man, you see a white woman. That's what I've seen, right? Yeah. And then it's just like, to me, I've never seen Michelle do anything that I would deem like ghetto or whatever, but I just feel like she has like a hood side to her that just as like I don't even. I never
and
even.
So does he. Trust and believe.
It's never done, but much is implied.
I just always felt like
he always in line.
When you like to hear one of their conversations like in private,
off camera, like because you be the fly on the wall.
They be like, do you believe that,
motherfucker?
This ain't gonna like to believe that, motherfucker. You know where they go.
My nigga.
If Obama has a Michelle, from Chicago, and I'm like, that's a special bond right there. That's a special connection that I feel like we can only generate.
But you can. The thing that, 5 years in and anybody else, when I said I do, I meant it. Mm-hmm. And so did my husband, because before that we did counseling, and we both decided if there was ever any issues, we would go to counseling, because when I said till death do us part, I meant it. Right. And so did he. So what that means is you got to weather the storm. Yeah. You got to marry, you got to be equally yoked. You got to marry for the right reasons, not because you're trying to have a big wedding.
Right.
A big party. And you got to mean it. And so no matter what comes your way, and shit will come your way. And it's not always infidelity. It's not always a lot of things that you think. Sometimes it's finance. Sometimes it's other things. But whatever's thrown your way, you got to be in for the long haul.
Now, let me ask you a question. Because to me, that's the hardest thing to interpret. You can say you love till death do us part. You meant it. He meant it. But there's so many couples that get to the altar, like you said, that marry for the big wedding.
For the wrong reasons.
What I'm saying. And so how do you interpret or comprehend when somebody's not doing it for the right reasons?
Well, you can't do that. They have to do it. First of all, it's not for me to judge whether you're getting married for the right reasons. So I'll say this, as I tell my daughters, as I've known my life, in any situation, you listen to that. Some people call it
the small voice.
The small voice inside of you. They call it the God. Mm-hmm. I know God whispered in my ear and told me that I had something was wrong, and I listened.
We will get there in a minute.
I know. I set up and realized.
Take your time.
And I ended up having breast cancer. But I just always listen to that voice, and I tell my girls all the time, if you walk in a place and if your head cocked, if something like that happened, don't ignore that. Yeah. How many dates have you been on and you get or you go like, no, he ain't the guy, and then he talks you into it, and you talk yourself into it, and sure enough, wasted 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, a year of your life,
and you was right.
But you was right because the moment your head cocked like this to the side, or something hit you like that, and says, "No, I don't want to do that," and you go, "Shh, no, that's okay, no, okay, shh." So it's not for me to decide if you're making the right decision. I'm not in your private moments with you. But how many people walked down the aisle and felt like this, am I doing the right thing? But because they had everybody there and the dress was already in the reception was ready, they did. And sure enough, 3, 4 years later, they're divorced because they knew right at that moment it was wrong. They knew when they were dating it was wrong.
Now, I challenge you even furthermore to answer this question, because
I hope I can, since it's a challenge. Because
no, and I'm sure you can.
And I'm only speaking from my experience,
right? And that's understandable. So you say you can only do it from your experience. Let's say your intuition leads you either not too far astray, either online, parallel, or a little off. Now, you're on the black love situation. It shows, like you said, yours was you and your husband are equally yoked, and it's been that way from the beginning. But if you notice a lot of the panel, it's not so much like that from the beginning. I can't think of the light-skinned couple name, but he talks about like how everybody envies their marriage, but nobody knows what it takes to get them there. A lot of people, it seems to have went through or a lot to stay together.
But that's that commitment.
True. But
that's weathering the storm.
True. That's weathering the storm.
True. But there's a lot of people that have married the second time around or people that have gotten divorced and found that second soulmate that are now so much more in bliss than what they were.
Yeah, well, and that works too.
With struggle.
Yeah,
I mean, not you know what I'm saying, bliss with struggle, but they're so much better off on their second marriage because they knew that first one wasn't
love is the second time around if you don't get it right. And you know what? I applaud those people because what I don't like is to see, especially our sisters, you get wounded and you give up. So I applaud the people who go, okay, the first time didn't work. I was young. I was into the dress and the reception or whatever the reason was. I have a girlfriend who's going to get married for the second time, and I'm so elated for her because it is right.
Does she wear a white dress?
No, I don't know what she's. It's going to be a whole different. I was in her first wedding.
Yeah. Some red shit.
And it's going to be a whole different wedding, but people do that. I mean, we're human. We make bad decisions sometimes, or we make decisions that we think are good at the time, but they're not necessarily the best decisions for us. And sometimes it's age component. Sometimes it's just a whole lot of it. It's just a whole lot of things. But I applaud the people who come back and say, you know what, I'm going to give love another shot because I want to be in love. I believe in love. I believe in the institution of marriage or just relationships. And I want that. And this guy is better. And sometimes you got to know what you don't want in order to know what you want. Yeah. You know that?
I believe that.
That's
right.
Kiss a few frogs.
Yeah, that too. But just like, you got to know what you don't want. Like, I remember, like, before I met Tony, I dated guys, and there was a guy that I thought I loved, and, we were young, and of course he did all kind of mess and was seeing other, all kind of stuff. And then there was a guy who wanted to marry me, who I was like, I don't want to do that. So I had to go through all that too. Mm-hmm. But when I met Tony, and at that point, I knew what I didn't want. I knew I didn't want them other people. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't quite sure what I really wanted until I met him. And the moment I met him, I'm like, that's it. And it was very clear, and I was very good. So you gotta like know what you don't want first.
So I know that you mentioned that that you're kind of old school, and now in 2017, a lot of things aren't really old school anymore as far as just the way the society is, and raising daughters.
But that's a choice.
Very true.
That's
very
a choice.
True.
Go ahead.
How do you, I guess, in raising your daughters and kind of rearing them in the dating world, how do you impart in them some of your own beliefs and values?
Well, first of all, they don't listen to a thing I say. Oh. Do you have a mother?
I do.
Do you listen to her? No. You do you. Okay. First of all, I mean,
you heard that, Mama.
I'm going to say that. I'm going to do a slight retraction.
She's a
My
writer.
27-year-old is finally starting to listen to me. The other day we were having a conversation a couple weeks ago. Some guy she just kind of met, and she was talking about, and I was giving her some advice, and she said, Mom, that's good. And she was agreeing with me, and I was like this.
Like what?
I was trying not to show that to her, but I was like, because she was actually like, Mom, that's a good point. I was like, this is you. That's a good point. I mean,
me?
So it's like, they got to do their own journey. Mm-hmm. I can only tell them what I think they should do. But what I do tell them and what I do teach them, because that old school, that's a choice. Because, I don't know, I just think that everybody in a relationship should do what they do best. And that's what makes a successful relationship.
True.
And
do your job.
Do your job. And then you also got to look at what each person's contribution is to the household and the thing. My husband ain't got to take out the garbage because he make enough money for me to have a housekeeper, number one. Right. And I don't work all the time because of the jobs I have. I may be gone. I'm here. Mm-hmm. He ain't got to take out the garbage. He ain't got to cook. He don't have to do nothing. He don't make up his bed. I mean, he does on the weekend. He does that. He does a lot when he wants to. But that's not mandatory. I'm not riding his jock and getting on him when he come home. You didn't take out the garbage. You didn't make... I don't do that because it's not essential. Now, for the people who... you working towards having a housekeeper, yes, you might want to split the chores, but let everybody do what they do best. And then this is what I always tell ladies. Okay, so great example. You are married and you don't have a housekeeper, and your husband's supposed to take out the garbage. Now, you first of all got to understand who you married, and you got to understand men versus women. Men are like this, right? The game's on. Some other shit's going on. So they're not really disrespecting you or being angry. They just they are clue. They just ain't over here. They right here. So you can say, baby, would you take out the garbage for me? Oh, okay, baby, I'm taking it out. Right.
I think that's me.
Now another hour go by, hour and a half. Baby.
And still not out.
You gonna take out the garbage? Oh, yeah, baby, I'll take out the garbage. Now, this is the third time. Now, you have a choice. Can I curse here?
Yeah, do
yes,
it.
You can say, motherfucker, goddamn it, take out the... Now, what is that going to bring you?
Animosity, hostility.
Argument is getting ready to erupt. Right? But if you take another approach to say, baby, I know you're watching the game, and I understand, but I really need you to take out the garbage now because I'm trying to clean up the kitchen, whatever. Mm-hmm. Oh, baby, I'm sorry. Oh,
I've been tripping.
That's probably the response you're going to get because he like this. He ain't not taking out the garbage. He's trying to piss you out. It's just he ain't. Men are linear.
You didn't initially.
Men are linear. They don't think like that.
You have to learn that. You have to develop that, right?
Just do a million things.
I'm saying initially you probably.
I never was that girl. I gotta correct you. I never was that girl. I learned early. Okay. I learned very early on because I paid attention and I knew who I married.
Yeah.
My husband can't find his damn keys a lot, so for him, and coming over here, I was talking to him. And he was watching Monday Night Football.
Amen.
And I said something. And I said, Tony, baby, huh? What, huh? He here.
Right.
Tony is an excellent, and I get so, people stop me in the street. Oh my God, your husband did my anesthesia. He is so wonderful. He has such a great bedside manner. He's a great businessman. He's a great, the things that he is really interested in, it's this. And he does excellent. All this other shit over here, he don't know what's going on. He would call me about, to this day, what I got to do this weekend? What we doing this weekend? Baby, we doing this, we doing this, we doing it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Or can I want to go out. You're free. Go ahead. Go out tonight. You're good.
You got this.
We don't have this to do. When the kids were at back to school night, I would call. I would sign up. I would say, okay, what time? Well, give me this time. I need the morning. Okay, whatever. Do the morning. That's a month before. 2 weeks before. Back to school night, this is the time. The week of. The day of. 2 days before. The day of. The day of, I would still say, you got back to school night today. Because he'd be like, what I got to do? What I got to do this week? Now, I could have said, fool, I done told you 5,000 times. Back to school night is next Thursday, right? I could do that.
And then you make it, and then you're internalizing it, saying you don't care about
and you don't care, you're not listening, right?
And it's bigger than what it needs to be.
And I could just say, baby, like I would, don't forget, back to school night is tonight. And what would he do? Tonight?
Right.
Now, how many times did I tell him? Yeah. But he would go, tonight? Yeah, baby, it's tonight. 7 o'clock. Oh, okay.
Now, even to your point, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that men don't do anything well because as her husband being a doctor, he has to orchestrate a lot of things well. But we are best when we...
What you do, he's like this. He's a horseman blinder.
Yeah.
What he does well. All this external stuff that when it gets linear like that, I lose him.
Yeah, and that's,
I lose him.
And we can pay attention.
We do women. We do this, and see that's women who don't understand the difference between men and women. That's the issue. The man don't want to be your friend. He don't want to sit around with your girlfriends and drink at the kitchen table. He don't want to do that. He don't want to go shopping with you. He don't want to do that. So people get mad like, you don't no, he don't want to do that. And don't make him sit with some couples he don't like either. He don't want to do that. Men, it's you got to understand the difference between the man you married and the woman you are.
Right.
All right. And one, you dropping them gems. And this is something I've been waiting for a long time to ask you this because at one point I was watching you on a show, and you were talking about being an empty nester. And
go ahead.
And that's something that I'm like.
A long way away from, but go ahead.
No, it don't feel that long. I'm thinking about it now. You know what I'm saying? It feels, but I'm just like,
like 5, Charles.
4 and 2.
Child. Well, in my 18 years.
Yeah, 18 years. But, so tell me this though, because you had two daughters, and you have two daughters, and so I'm just wondering where did you ever think like, well, I probably should have more kids, and then you would have had somebody in high school, or however, if you would have.
Lord have mercy. Okay, I got two thoughts on that. If I would have met Tony earlier and we started earlier, we may have 3 kids. Yeah. But seeing how we started, we met. He was 26, I was 29. When we got married, I was 31, he was 28. When we had Ashley, she was our second anniversary present, literally. She was born August 13th. Our anniversary was September 3rd. I was 33. Tony was 30. He was a dad by 30. I'm 3 years older than my husband. And by the time we had my daughter, Alexandra, she was our 6th wedding anniversary. That was 1994. I was 37. So, given that time, and I didn't have anybody between, anybody after Alexandra, their first name would have been shit, and the next name would have been goddamn it. They would have been shit, goddamn it, Callaway. Because it would have been like, what the fuck are we doing? It would have been shit, goddamn it, or what the fuck, Callaway, right? Because after that point, I want to try and handle my babies. But had I started earlier, who knows what would have happened? Yeah. But we're very happy with 2 because economically, 2
it's feasible.
Enough. Yeah, because we did private schools, we did private college, Spelman College. One lives in New York right now. We helping her with her rent. I mean, we still.
Jesus.
They're doing their things. They're good girls. They graduated from high school and college on time, both with honors, both high school and college. Jobs right out of college.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're doing their things. But you still, because they're still 23 and 27,
and they're yours,
and they're mine, and they don't have to suffer.
Right.
Amen.
And I don't give a shit who got to say nothing about it.
Hold on. That's the goal.
They ain't got to suffer.
You need help, I got you.
Right. Yeah. But because they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
They're working. They're working hard. And because they're starting, this is my oldest daughter's 3rd professional job, and this is my baby's 2nd professional job. So they're still getting their increments of salary. Right. So they still need help. Because the economy is like crazy, stupid.
Especially one being
and they don't have to suffer and live in poverty because it's like trying to teach them a lesson. Yeah, I'm not doing that. But anyway, so they're doing what they're supposed to do. And had I had 3, it would have been good if that would have worked. But 2 in today's economy for us works, and it's plenty.
Yeah.
But being an empty nester I love it.
Mm-hmm. My wife is saying she's done. She's like 2 and done.
2's enough.
You want more?
I want a boy and a girl. That's it.
Well, you guys are young. I mean, if God slipped a baby in on you, you're going to deal with it.
I want a boy and a girl, and I'm done.
But you might not get that. So you just my thing. I was just happy.
If I'm stuck with a boy, hey,
I was hoping that you would give some kind of like, you should have 3. Give her some kind of, gives her like a.
Well, you should have 3 if that's what you guys want. If that's what you want, you should have 3. You asking about me? Had I been younger, now you got to remember my age. I had my first daughter at 33, and my second at 37. Now, had I started having babies in my 20s. I could easily have 3
or 4. Maybe.
Right. Who knows?
You think you would have stopped at 3 probably? Or
3 I'd have stopped at 3.
Nah,
nigga. You already heard that.
I like you.
Although that's not an even number in an amusement park ride, so because everybody needs a partner. Everybody needs a partner. You think about stuff like that.
That's 5 of y'all.
And then you think about like, okay, who's going to be in college and high school while one's in college, who's in high school? Right. How much money is that going to be? You got to think about that
the bigger picture.
So how was it? How did that change your marriage once your kids got out the house officially?
Woo! Well, it didn't change our marriage, and this is it did not change our marriage.
Mm-hmm. But it had to.
No, it did not. Okay. Because see, the thing about me and Tony, we've always done what me and Tony wanted to do. Mm-hmm. We travel. I'd be like this: you don't get to babysit; they yours. Tag you in, nigga. Bye.
Right.
That's what I would do. In a heartbeat. I would go away and work a couple of weeks here or whatever. I loved it. But if I wanted to go away with my girlfriends, it's like, tag you in, bye. And then he do what he needed to do. So it really changed for me, not so much for him, because I was the one who mainly did most of the work anyway. But I accepted that early into the relationship, so I wasn't bitter or angry at him because he wasn't doing all the... Because he was working. He has to get up at 4. He's at the surgery center. He's gone all day, or the hospital. He's doing surgery all day. Yeah. So people getting to dance classes and from school. My mother helped I moved my mother out here. She would help pick up from school. I used to love the drop off. I like the morning drop off. That's what I loved. So I would take my kids and whoever else was in our carpool.
Did you ever get recognized from any?
Okay, I went to school with a lot of famous parents. I went to Center for Early Education, so it was no big deal, right? But anyway, my kids went to school with a lot of famous people's kids. I'm not going to start dropping names, but that's what they did. But I would take them to school, right? And then I had, stuff to do, appointments, work, whatever. And then I had another parent drop them off. So it was just like that was already laid out, and then the dance classes, and then this.
You had a support system.
Yeah, I had a support system and built in, and then if I would call Tony, because the older they got, kids' schedules got really crazy, right? And this one was like over there, this one was over here, and I couldn't go for some reason, and my mama couldn't go for this, but when he knew I called him, it was like, honey, I'm calling you because it's really ain't nobody else. What you doing at 3:00? And if he was done with surgeries, he's like, okay, I'll go get him. Okay, you go over there and I'm gonna go over. We're gonna split up or whatever. So I mean, he's never had an issue pitching in, and he never had an issue doing whatever. I just never demanded that of him. But the moment I called and was like, I need you to do or you need to do this, he's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
what
like
gets you more.
You get more. My mother would say you get more.
More honey
than with shit, whatever that saying is. Basically.
But you get the flies with the shit.
You get the flies with the shit, and you get more love with the honey. However that saying
So was it your mom that you were observing, able to learn?
No, my mother was not married. She did not have successful relationships. As a matter of fact, she commented and applauded me one day for doing what she couldn't do. But I'm going to say this, and I love my mother. And it's because my mother didn't have successful relationships that I was determined as a little girl that I was that girl that wanted to be married. I knew early on I wanted to be married. I wanted kids. That's just me. I was never that girl that dated all the athletes, ran around with a bunch of men.
Right.
I just didn't. I was looking to get married in my 20s. I was like. By the end of my 20s, I was almost crying because I thought it was over. When I met Tony, I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, somebody marry me. Because that's just
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus. He liked me.
That was a good catch.
He liked me, Lord Jesus. Thank you.
You really, you knew you had
cast a good net.
Girl.
Yeah, you knew you had
I was always that girl. I did not want to be in the streets. I wanted to be married and have kids. Right. I just was that girl. But my mother, to answer that question, love her, but that just wasn't her life. But early in my life, I knew that that's what I wanted. And I didn't want, the term wasn't out at the time, I didn't want to be somebody's baby mama.
Right.
I wanted to have, and I always said, I'm going to have my children with my husband. Yeah. I'm not going to have children out of wedlock. I just didn't want that.
Right.
That's what they call them, children out of wedlock. It wasn't baby mama.
They call them bastards.
Right.
Yeah. My grandma used to call them fast with
I'm a bastard. Are you? I know I'm a bastard. But I mean, that's just what I knew. I identified early on what I wanted. And when I saw it, I did it. And that's, I think, one reason I'm old fashioned, because I love, cooking is my thing. Mm-hmm. Even now the kids are gone. I have to tell my daughter, come get some food.
Right.
It's I start cooking.
And just make all this food and nobody to eat it.
Girl, I get that Monday and a Tuesday because my husband, one thing, he always comes home and there's some food in the refrigerator for him. He eats it whatever he wants. I don't pick you not coming home for dinner. I don't do that. But it's baby, it's here, so whenever you get to it. And I will get on a Monday or Tuesday and I'll cook several things so I don't have to cook the rest of the week. But that's my thing. I love it's relaxing. It's therapeutic.
Do you think you could lose a man off of nagging?
I definitely think a lot of women lose men off of nagging. My personal opinion, and I've seen it.
It ain't just yours.
And I've seen it with, and then men are non-responsive. It works both ways. Right. And some men need to pay more attention. Yeah. So it's both ways. But yes, I don't think that nagging it solves anything. But first of all, you got to get to the core of it. You got to understand who you dating or who you marry. Understand your man. Understand your woman. You know what I'm saying? Know who you with. So my husband loses his keys. It got to the point, and everything else, to the point where the kids were little, and Tony come on, anybody see my keys? Everybody would be running around the house looking for whatever the item was he lost that day. Okay?
What about
to the point where years later,
lost Tony.
We look at each other like this. Me and the girls be like this.
Right.
Again. All right.
No, Daddy, I don't see it. But I knew that going in.
Yeah.
So I can't get mad 10 years in because that was the dude I dated.
Right.
Okay?
Always been that way.
I made a list. Out of 10 things, he was a strong 7.5. So then at that point, I had to make a choice. The other 2.5 things, is it really a deal breaker? Or can I live with this? And I decided I could live with it because it was minuscule things. Like, don't pick up his socks. He loses shit all the time. The top might not be on the toothpaste. So if those are like deal breakers, so you don't marry that dude. Because that's not going to change after you get married.
Right.
I promise you. Not going to change. So you got to make your list and say, okay, the bad credit, she nags, I don't like this about her. If those are in the top 7, then you might want to really think about hooking up with that person. But if you got some minuscule things like he loses shit a lot, his keys. I can't tell how many times Tony came home and the latest iPad, the phone, was left in the cab. And I go, oh, baby, really? Shit, it wasn't my shit. This is funny. So he takes my daughters on vacations when they left 6th grade, right? And my youngest daughter, she was a koala baby bear. She really wanted me to go with her. But I was like, I wasn't going to interfere in that trip because that was her and her dad trip. And I said, no, baby, you got to go. And she had a little side. I said, well, let me tell you something. You keep up with your dad's passport. I gave her all the instructions. You make sure your dad has this. And she had this bracelet. I said, and don't give your dad. But it's my fault. I shouldn't have let her take that bracelet on a trip, international trip. I said, don't give your dad that bracelet ever. You hear me? You make sure you get your dad's this. I give her all these instructions. She's in the 6th grade. So she's trying to keep up with her dad. Sure enough, she gives her dad the bracelet. Some kind of way he ends up with it. Sure enough, he leaves the computer, iPad, whatever, in the cab. Sure enough, everything's lost.
Wow.
Because I was giving her those instructions because I knew the possibilities of what would happen. Yeah. And exactly what I thought would happen happened. So do I get to penalize him for what he's been doing all his life?
Right.
You read the book. You know the cover.
I signed up for it.
Yeah. For life.
Well, we all signed up for a lot, and we signed up for this show, but we'll take a quick commercial break. Poetess, cue us up. Tell us when to go.
Tell us when to go?
Poetess, cue us up.
Y'all have a 2-hour show.
just go to. You know how to, you ever do? You know how to do live?
I do it a few times. I don't do it a whole lot, so.
It works.
Sure,
and
your story. Right?
We are back just for you all. If you're just now tuning in, we are here with Vanessa Bell Callaway. We've been talking about Black love. As my sister texted me and said, she's been dropping a lot of knowledge for us here, sharing her wisdom and experiences with us. And one of the things I wanted to share, Vanessa, is that because I know you were mentioning your grandmother. I'm
getting my Instagram live ready. Right. Y'all know I'm trying to make sure I'm like I'm current.
Right.
Okay. Hi y'all.
We need to get on her level.
Yeah, I'm on this talk show. It's 30 minutes left because they didn't tell me I should have did live all this time. But yeah, I got my reading glasses on. I can't see shit.
They give you hearts. They give you everything.
Right. It's been a fun show. Right. Stay tuned because you're gonna like the conversation. Go ahead.
What I was going to say was I feel like sometimes what's lost even in our community, in the Black community, amongst women, is that a lot of women, like even within the family dynamic, don't necessarily get together and share those experiences of life. So, older aunties or grandmas sharing their experiences that they had,
like we used to do,
their relationships. And so some years ago, I had gone on a trip with my mother, my aunt, and one of my older cousins, and they were kind of in the car just talking about life and different things, and I felt like I had missed out, in a sense of having that, like when we got on to the family gatherings, of getting that information of things to know about how you would treat a man and certain things you do and then don't do. Like they were talking about, when you're going to make a man's plate and, certain things you serve on and not serving on the plastic or in the plastic cup but in the glass. And then, but I mean, like, I felt like some of the stuff was like I missed out on, in a sense, because
it's old fashioned. And a lot of women today would squawk at that. He can make his own.
Turn their nose up.
Right.
So and once again, it's a choice.
When do you? I was about to say, yes, as a choice. But I'm saying, when do you make a guy's plate?
Well, let me say this first. To your question about women getting together, we do that in my community of sisters. One of my best friends in the world lives right down the street from here, off of Martin Luther King, and we love her table. Her kitchen table is the Truth Table, and we love getting our kids. Robin, everybody who knows me here know Robin and Facia are my best friends here, and Star Jones is my best friend back east, and Susan Watson. So I have like 4 best friends, 2 back east and 2 here, But we get to Robin's table, and it's the Truth Table. And we love when we can finally hijack the kids and make them come. We usually have to, lure them because it's food and liquor, and they can bring a friend. And we sit around, and we just talk and debate for hours. And that is so important because what you're saying is you're kind of like not only teaching, but you're handing down the torch, and you're letting people know that, there's a lot of new school stuff, and that's great. You can be new school, but you don't be ashamed because a lot of shit that's old, it
works. They're rules.
It works.
They're rules.
Exactly
because they're rules, and it's like men and women are different. And because I don't make my husband cook, and my husband doesn't mean I'm subservient.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm not my own woman. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm not a bad bitch. That means I'm a smart bitch.
Right.
Because I'm letting him do what he need to do to run the stuff that we got, and I'm taking care of him and making sure he ain't got to worry about making no damn chicken and picking up beside me. And until you work towards that level, I get that a lot of people don't have. And a lot of couples are young and they're in a little apartment and they're both working hard. I get that. So you need to divide that. But then what you also need to do is like what your mother and them was telling you. When she can, even though she's at the hospital being a nurse and he's somewhere doing whatever, when you can come, it's like kindness.
Right.
It's love. Make his plate if you can. Make your own plate. Why?
And they send so many different signals in so many different ways. You make his plate, it's like, wow.
Is that really a big thing? Because guess what?
No, but
sometimes he'll make yours.
Right, but
you make his plate, I guarantee you there'll be some situation you'll go, baby, what you need.
Right.
Yeah, but and I was about to say,
him love.
It travels so much further.
You do that from the beginning. From the beginning. Because it's like you gotta, and I'm gonna take it back a step. I was talking to one of my friends. Her daughter is my my husband's goddaughter, and she's 15, going on 16. Some stuff is going on, and I was just telling her, you don't poo-poo away young kids' relationships, their crushes, because what we're doing is teaching them how to love.
Right.
I told you.
You got to teach a kid how to love. So you don't make it's bad. You don't like boys. Sex is bad. No, you got to do age appropriate now.
Right.
But you don't poo-poo that away and make them feel bad about liking somebody. You want your kid to come home and say, Mom, he tried to kiss me. Oh, baby, didn't want to.
Teaching moment.
It's a teachable moment because you got to teach them how to care for somebody else.
I just watched the other sister today
love.
too.
That's really important.
I think
because if they don't grow up knowing how to love, first of all, you got to teach them how to love themselves.
Right.
Amen.
But you got to teach them how to care for other human beings because you are a child this much in your life.
Right.
And you are an adult.
Yeah.
And I really spent a lot of time on my daughters and their high school, grade school, junior high school relationships because I didn't want to raise frigid women who couldn't keep their man happy and I don't know because they neither one are married yet. But we talk a lot about a lot of things because I'm not trying to marry some woman who is so uptight because I put all this shit on her that she can't just be.
She got so many stereotypes she got to live up to.
That she don't know how to
be a person.
Be happy in a relationship.
Or be a girl.
Make her man happy and keep herself happy and fulfilled as well. And so you know what I'm saying. So it's like you got to understand that. So and we started somewhere. It's a lot, y'all.
It's a lot.
Well, because I know that you said that it's a choice, right? Yeah. But I feel like sometimes, without the knowledge, how can you make that choice to say, okay, I want to go the old school route, or I kind of like doing my own thing the new school way. Like if you don't know that there's another way,
you got to have the knowledge. And then also, every relationship is different. So, you might meet a guy and his background and your background and. You might want to do this. He likes this, and then you decide what works for you.
Right.
But what you gotta understand is, just because we're in 2017 doesn't mean all that's old and we're only going this way.
Right.
Okay, mix the two. Figure out what works for you. What works for me and Tony may not work for you in your life, and that's okay because everything is different. Everything is whatever works for you. But don't limit yourself to say, "Oh, I'm not doing anything there,"
right.
Because you might pull a few gems from your grandmother and me that will work. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing that wins out every time is kindness, love, and respect.
And that's been
what a lot of people like to do.
I'm gonna tell you that wins out every time in a relationship. My husband and I, like I said, we've never called each other our name. In my home, my kids were raised to say yes, please, thank you. And he and I, thank you, baby. Also, baby, thank you. We say that all the time. He has come to me and he has said, and I've said to him, I thank him for the work he puts out for me and the girls. Yeah. I've thanked him because when you see a black man get up every morning like this, and it's still dark, and he doing this, and he do it every day. Sometimes women just say, baby, I really appreciate you and what you do for the family. And that does, you know what that does to him?
It makes you stronger. A word, I ain't ever gonna let you down.
Right.
Can I ask you about a big question about submission in a marriage and a relationship? Like what is that? How does that work?
You talking about sexual submission? What kind of submission you talking about, boo?
Being submissive,
sexual submission. Have some fun, shit.
Yeah, well,
because the shit changes.
Amen.
Have your fun now.
Amen. Do what you can while you can. When you can.
Do it on the ceiling, on the chandelier. Put them kids in bed and get at it.
Swing, boy, swing.
Swing. So what else? Okay.
Well, what about in a relationship when you want a submission? Like some people don't want to be. I think something that you touched on, but it's like you guys got to be submissive to each other, or they want to be.
I don't know if the word submissive is right. Yeah. I think that when you approach somebody with submissive, that might, although it may fit. Right, it has a negative connotation, the word. And I don't think anything is submissive. I think it's like it's a choice once again. Like I choose to make my husband very comfortable in his home. Tony still don't know some of the shit in the kitchen, but he don't have to. He come home, his house is clean, his kids was clean. He can bring a guest home. I do that, but that's me. I ain't saying nothing against somebody else. It's like, baby, I need to bring somebody home. If I'm home, instant dinner party. That's what I like to do. So I'm not being submissive. I'm pitching in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not like going, lay down and walk over me. No, nigga can't walk over me. Because trust me, I ain't saying we don't disagree. And I ain't saying I ain't strong. And he'll tell you. You know, he
it don't look like you bite your tongue too much.
Yeah, and he don't like. If he was here, this is what he would say. If he was here, he's like, I'm very sensitive. So the moment he raises his voice, I go, "Are you yelling at me?" Right. And he goes, you know, because I'm really sensitive. It's like
it's
the
not
moment
how what you say is how you say it, or something.
It's not what you say; it's how you say it.
That's life.
And the moment I see, because he has he's very calm, but when his temperature changes, it goes very quick. And when I see him go, I was like, I do this. Are you yelling at me? And he goes like, oh, shit. And he's like, you know,
like, damn.
But that's not how we don't communicate on that level.
Right.
We don't communicate up here.
Nothing's good for that.
We communicate here. Because you don't get nothing done up here, but it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Was it ever up there, though? Did you guys have to find
it's just not who we are.
balance?
No, because I don't want to be yelled at.
They're compatible. Yeah. And that's just what I hear.
That's a good thing, but that's a boring thing for people when they're trying to find shit.
Because usually,
and that's why nobody follows me around with a camera. That's why nobody's ever. You'll never hear my marriage in the tabloids.
Black love, y'all just not in the. I guess the part where they talking about the conflict, right?
Yeah, because when they brought up those questions, we were like this. We really don't have and I can say this honestly. We went on a first date. We met. Went on a date. We've never been apart. We have never, in over 30 years, broke up or almost broke up. Yeah. Never. You know, some couples.
Right. You the dream. You know that, right?
I don't know. It just happened that way. But you know, some people like break up, get back together, break up, get back together, which is good. Which is a good thing, because if you need to do that to make sure you're together, because sometimes some people need a break from each other.
Need to break up to make
find each other again, and to grow up a little bit and come back. So that's not a bad thing. But we were at a point in our lives that we didn't need all that back and forth. Now, had we met earlier, I would probably not have anything to do with his ass.
That's possible.
Because he was too young.
I got to say, me and my wife, too.
You know?
And he was probably too focused.
Met, and then from there, we just stayed together the whole time. It wasn't even like it wasn't like, oh, we met, we'll get back together. It was they called it, I think it's like what basically love at first sight, I guess, essentially.
That's what we had.
You know, and it's just like, you
looked up a year later and you were still together.
Yeah.
And then after some point you're like, what we doing? We might as well do this. Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, we never broke up or almost broke up. There was never a discussion of breakup, and there's never been a discussion of divorce or breakup.
So let me ask you the same question but differently. For your circumstance, applicable to other people's circumstance, how would you address people that are equally yoked in personality, but maybe not peripherally on the exterior things, like maybe finance or
maybe come from different backgrounds?
Things of that nature. Like, you work for me personality wise, but fundamentally, I don't even know if that makes sense.
That can be worked out, see. Yeah. And the thing I understand about relationships, when it works, like, if you get each other, whatever that means to you, like Tony and I get each other.
And is that more important than everything else?
Well, because if you really get each other and you want to be together, but more importantly, you want to stay together. Right. Because some people are looking for an out after a while. You got to realize that too. Yeah. Some people are looking for an out.
So they start nitpicking at nothing.
So they start nitpicking at whatever. But if you are really trying to stay together, okay, we grew up a little differently. We need to work out this issue. We need to figure out how. Okay. But if you are really together for the right reasons, because nothing's perfect. I mean, I have so many stories, but I'll only tell you one. A couple of times, Tony really could have been a businessman first, but he became a doctor. But he always wanted to do a lot of business. And he went into some deals, and he would come home and he would say, I want to do this, this, this. And I would be like this, not a good idea. But I knew that I don't care what shit I said, he was going to do it. Now, you got to realize, I'm dealing with a young man who's trying to find his way, who's trying to find his way for his family, who's experimenting, who's trying to be a man. And that's the thing I tell young girls, you got to let a man be a man. Sometimes you got to sit back and let him make the mistakes, right? Because you can't be like, you don't have a penis. So y'all can't be slinging penises against each other. Right. So I sat back and I was like, bad idea. And I didn't say no, I just looked at him like this. Sure enough, I was right. But when he came in and the money invested was gone or whatever, the last thing he needed to hear me go, I told you so. Because the look on his face and seeing that man come through the door with his head down and his tail between his legs and determined to make better what he just lost for his family, he didn't need to hear me say that shit. He knew it and I knew it. And all I said was, it's okay, baby, we'll get through this too. I didn't have to say that.
Right.
So see, it's always choices you make. So to your question about, the differences, it's a choice. But if you really, the core is always love, understanding, and if you really want to be with this person, for whatever reason you decide, this is the shit. This is my dude. This is my girl. I love the way she this, that, and the other. Now, you don't like everything about everybody. I found out something recently that my husband would wish I would get rid of. Recently, we were all in our kitchen Labor Day weekend. My girlfriend's getting married on a cruise and found out she's going to do a newlywed game. And jokingly, I said, Tony, she's going to have us on the game. Don't embarrass me after 29 years of marriage and you don't know nothing about me, right? So my girlfriend says, she's like my sister-in-law, because she's married to Tony's best friend. She's okay, because they go on the wedding too. She's okay, well, I'm going to make some questions up. So she started thinking, and she started asking us all these questions as couples, and we all going like this, And she asked one couple, she said, what is the one thing you want to get rid of that your person has? Now, that's a good question for couples who are just meeting, because it's like, I hate his sofa that he had at his bachelor apartment. I hate her, all that shit she got in her bed, whatever, right? We've been in this house for like 26 years, right? And he said something I never expected he was going to. He said, all that stuff she got under that medicine under the cabinet in the bathroom. I said, what are you talking about? He said, on my side. And I did like this because the girls were living with us at the time. So we girls. So their bathroom was full of their shit. My bathroom, I figured all he needed was a couple of drawers in the medicine cabinet.
As usual.
He ain't got nothing. So literally, I did hog up a lot of the bathroom. But that made me think. And you know what I did this weekend? I threw stuff out of the girls' bathroom, and I just reconfigured and got rid of a lot of stuff. That's and yesterday, I said, baby, I heard you. Come here, close your eyes. And I opened up he's like, wow, he had a whole empty cabinet under his sink in the bathroom.
Now he got his face.
It makes a difference.
So it's little things like that. That's when you say, I hear you. I heard him.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Right.
Exactly. I hear you. I see you. I love you.
Now tell me this. Do you got a...
Hold on. We do have a question from somebody who's listening and watching. They had a question about relationship baggage and dealing with that in the marriage.
Once again, it's a choice. It's all choices, you guys. Because it's like, I was lucky I didn't have... And it was important to me. I didn't want a man that had kids. But I was 29. I didn't have to do that. But say you're 35 and you're marrying a guy who's 35 or 36. He might have children. He might be divorced. He might have some baggage. Yeah.
In the family.
So it's choices. I didn't have to do that because I was still young. But it's choices. So if you really like the individual, if you really want to be a part of their lives, I think at that point too, everything has to be very exposed. No secrets. Mm-hmm. Because I can only choose to be with you if I know the deal.
What you know.
But because then I get to say, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. Or, okay, I'm cool with that. So you got to give me all the information, and then I get to choose if I want to be with you and your child or whatever else your luggage is. And if you really can't deal with it, don't talk yourself into, once again, that voice, that God in you. Don't talk yourself into thinking you can deal with it.
Right.
It's not going to work for you. It's not going to work for you. And don't waste time in that relationship where you need to be out trying to meet other people who are more compatible to you. That's another mistake people make. They look up and it's like, and I try to tell my daughters this. It's like, baby, you're 27. Like, she got out of a relationship. It's like, either y'all need to do what? It's time. I ain't nothing against the young man, but if that ain't working, keep it moving.
Right.
You're 27. It takes time to meet somebody, date them, decide to get married. You look up, you're going to be 30-something, 40. And if you're saying you don't want to ever get married, I mean, I like you too. I like to have grandkids, but that's not my call. That's your call.
Right.
But if you're saying you do want to have a good relationship one day, then you need to, when it ain't working, you need to go. So once again, it's choices. But we got to be honest in our choices. It's like, it's not working. He's not it. She's not it.
And I think you're on it too. And another question was about and being in an insecure relationship. And I feel like you're there already with kind of what you're sharing.
Equally yoked. Nobody should have the power over the other. The power may shift from time to time, which it does, because women, we hold the keys. We just do. So the power may shift from time to time. But if somebody's got their thumb on you, and if you're the doormat, move. It's not going to, promise you, it's not going to work after a while.
There was something I seen that said today, actually, and I wanted to talk about this because it kind of deals with insecure, but it says that...
I ain't seen it yet.
No, I didn't
see this the last one, so don't talk about it.
There's no spoiler. We all know Lawrence didn't have a job, so that's all what it's about. So Lawrence
had the potential. He was just in a rough area.
Okay.
As we see
Girl,
now.
you better tell this woman.
But no, so they said that I literally just seen this interview on the Breakfast Club today, and they were saying that a man that is unemployed go after a couple of weeks or something like that, he goes into a clinical depression because of the fact of being the provider, and then you're not holding that position, and so just like there's certain things that, like you say, you shift. You go as an actress, you're in and out of different. You're doing the different gigs, or in directing, doing different things. But you've been able to have a steady. Your husband has a stable position. You never. So even though things have shifted, you never had to deal with that aspect, right? Of like
I didn't. Okay, thank God.
Yeah,
yes.
thank God.
And that could be a lot. That's a different.
That's a different element or a different wrinkle of a relationship when you're dealing with a spouse that is dealing with how to struggling to make it, or figuring out how he's gonna provide for you. You know what I'm saying? As your spouse.
Well, I think then in that case, it's like, okay, let me say this. I had chances to deal with other actors, but I didn't want to. I just didn't. It just didn't work for me. You know,
and that's personality.
It's a personality, and it was also I didn't want somebody doing the same thing I did.
Right.
That's just me. God bless me, and I didn't have to deal with that. However, should you be in that relationship, you got to be honest with yourself about who is going to and when the money's coming in. Money is very essential in a relationship.
Yeah.
So that has to be thought out and planned. It really does. And sometimes people get lucky and one person really excels and becomes the star, and the other person stays home and does whatever. And sometimes both people are struggling. They stay together, and sometimes both people are struggling and they divorce. Because as much as they love each other, finances really are important in the world.
Yeah.
So that's a catch-22.
Finance and romance gotta go hand in hand, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you are, and it's easy to say when the finance is okay, then the romance is fine. But when you eating tuna fish, and a baby comes, and the baby can't get Pampers, and everybody sit up there looking at each other crazy, I would imagine that's very difficult.
It's hard to get romantic.
I never did that.
It's hard to get romantic.
I never did that.
Yeah.
So once again, it comes down to your choices.
Yeah.
It comes down to choices. And I think sometimes people settle for stuff. And I'm not saying you settle for somebody who isn't a great person initially, but because you're just so eager to get into a relationship. But to answer your question about like somebody like Lawrence, we all struggle at some point. And the other person makes that commitment to be with that person if you believe in that person. Because my husband was a young doctor. He wasn't making money. I made more money than him when we first met. Mm-hmm. I was the one bringing the money in for the first few years. Yeah. Because he was an intern. He wasn't making no money.
But you knew he was on the money train.
But
let me say this.
But not all doctors become that.
Let me say this.
Say you as somebody who's sick. I've seen a lot of people that have potential.
That was the dream, but it could have gone left.
Yeah.
Right.
It could easily go left.
Yeah.
But he was the type of dude what I knew is that for some reason that didn't happen, he was going to find another avenue.
Yeah.
Right.
That I knew because he's a hustler.
Some way, somehow.
He's a hustler. And he still is at the 30. My husband is a stone cold hustler. He always has other businesses, always other things going on. But he wasn't making no money when I met him. I was making more money than him.
Yeah.
And so how did he, I guess, deal with that?
He didn't care because he was in a program. It was just part of the program.
Right.
It's a part of the process.
Part of the process. You start here and you grow to that. But I was 3 years older than him, so I always tease him. I was paying taxes before you, which I was.
Right.
So I was making money, a decent amount of money, and he was just at his beginning salary.
Right.
And then did it flip?
Right.
So
which I was very happy about.
We talked about insecure a little bit, and I want to talk about there's levels of commitment, but I would say in a marriage commitment, is infidelity, is that like a deal breaker?
You know what? As a young woman, I'm gonna say this, and I never dealt. I'm gonna tell you a funny story, but I never dealt with infidelity in my marriage. And did it happen? I don't know. But my thing was this: don't bring the shit home to my doorstep. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it happened because I think that people would have been all too eager to tell me about it.
Especially these days.
I did have an incident that happened. So my kids are very little, and my husband has medical records because he had a pain clinic at the time, and the woman who ran his clinic, who I knew, we kept her stuff at her mother's place. So a friend of mine, not even a friend of mine, some chick I kind of knew, saw my husband with her. And my husband came out and he said, "Hey, I ran into your friend, so-and-so, Stephanie." I'm going to say her ass because that bitch, I still want to knock her out. "I ran into your friend, Stephanie." And I said, "Oh, yeah." 2 weeks later, my good friends are like, don't know how to talk to me. So they go to my husband's best friend to tell him the shit that they done heard. So we come home. I was performing at our spot, the Regis. I was doing these plays. And Tony said, "Okay, I need to talk to you." And he tells me this story. And I say, "Is there anything you need to tell me?" And he says, "No." Because this rumor was getting out. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Is there anything you need to tell me?" And he said, "No, but I want you to find out where this rumor started." He said, "Because if my girls hear this, I'm going to hurt somebody." Mm-hmm. So I figured if your man is telling you to go find out where a rumor started about his supposedly infidelity, then, because you go looking for shit, what? You're going to find it.
That's for sure.
So I get on the phone and I start, right, you go looking for shit. That's why I never go to my husband's phone.
Yeah.
I don't go through shit. At this point,
we had that discussion before. I try to say that.
You go looking for shit, you're going to find, and you might even find shit. You might find something that you think is shit.
Right.
And it might not be what you think, but because you in that mindset, all of a sudden you go in there. So I pick up the phone and I backtrack. I call everybody. Everybody say, "Oh my God, yeah, okay, so-and-so told me." I get back to this one girlfriend, and she tells me about this Stephanie girl. And I'm like this, Tony told me he saw her 2 weeks ago. And my friend said, yeah, I asked her, I said, "Did you see her, did you see them kissing in the car?" Because my husband's always driven a Benz. That's Tony. He always, all his life he's had a drop top Benz. Now he finally bought his dream car, Bentley, but that's the him. Nice. And he was dropping her off, because they worked together. And he was dropping her off, and they was going to get some medical records. And he saw her and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And that was it. So she decided, because she saw them together in this car, that it had to be something else. And my friend said, "Well, did you see anything inappropriate?" She said, "No, but I just know that it was." So this bitch went and told all these people, and by the time it got back to me, I walked in my bedroom and caught them in the bed, him and this woman in the bed. The story went all over.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
So I'm just saying that, that happens. But when he said, you need to go and find out who started this, because if my kids hear this,
right,
I'm going to hurt somebody. Because our girls were old enough to, hear rumors.
Mm-hmm.
They were still young. They were still, one was 12 and one was under 12.
But they were old enough to process what's what.
Right. So I said, okay, well. So you always, there's always people who don't want to see you happy.
Yeah, they don't like.
But we never had to deal with that. But there's a lot of things you have to deal with, and you just, people just say we had property in Brazil, we had a business in Brazil. People go like, how do you let him go to Brazil? I said, first of all, I don't let him do nothing. He a grown ass man. I don't let him do nothing. He a grown ass man, and we have a company there, and the conversations we've had. It's like, I'm good because I let him, I'm very honest. It's like, don't let nobody come to my door, knocking to my, little Tony. Right. See, because you're going to have to take your ass and go with little Tony.
Right.
And me and Ashley and Allie going to stay here. And you going to, just like Ashley and Allie got a daddy, little Tony going to need one too. So let's get this clear now. I don't want nobody knocking on my door talking about, little Tony. And to this day, and I've been to Brazil several times. I ain't never had no chick run up on me. Ain't nobody knocked on my door. So you got to trust who you with. Right. And at some point in your life, so y'all, I'm going to tell you that Nookie is just like, people put us so much into sex, which is great. We all love it. But when you really learn how to look at, is it worth my life and my relationship? Even a man, at some point when he gets mature, out of 20s and 30s, you gonna know. If you got your shit popping where you are, you're not gonna let some skank chick that one night ruin your life.
And especially when you got money or you got a
security.
You got a lot to lose.
You got a lot to lose.
And the thing you teach your children, as I teach my children, you always be with somebody who has just as much to lose as you do. Yeah. Don't never get with somebody who ain't got shit to lose, because they ain't got shit to lose. They have nothing to lose. Yeah. You always make sure you with somebody who's got just as much to lose as you do, because I promise you the outcome is different. So no, I've never had to deal with that infidelity. We deal with other things. But I would have never, as a young woman, you say, oh, and I would do, and you might then. But when you get older, you go like this. I promise you, you've been with your husband, and I'm not naming no names, but there's a lot of women who are famous with famous men, and you get to the point where you understand why they didn't leave. Because you're looking at all this shit y'all got, the kids, and it's like, bitch, line up because you number whatever.
Right.
And if you think I'm leaving so you get all this?
Right.
Not gonna happen. Because after a while, that gonna die down. They reunite, they find themselves, and that's their business. They get to do that. They get to fight, make up, do whatever they want to do, come back together and say, whatever.
And my grandma, you kind of speaking of something my grandma would tell me, and she would say, sometimes women, especially single women that get around married women, they kind of, a lot of times they always say like, "Oh, your man is doing this. You need their solution to whatever you telling them, whatever it's infidelity, whatever. You need to leave or whatever, right? If I was you, I would leave."
But Charles, I say this: I never, and I've had a lot of women come to me, friends, and crying on my shoulders, and I say, I never tell a woman to leave her man because you can't tell me to leave mine.
Right.
Amen.
And I leave it at that. So I listen. And I try to give her the best advice that I think she needs to hear at that time. But see, you can't tell me to leave Tony Callaway.
Yeah.
Ain't shit you can tell me can make me leave Tony Callaway. Yeah. So I'm not going to tell you to leave your man, because when you get older and you get more invested in a relationship and you've been married for a while, there's a lot of elements that come into it. So somebody having a bad judgment one night depends on where you are in your marriage and your love for each other and your support and your kids, it depends on your foundation. You may be able to forgive. You may not be able to forgive.
Amen. I know one thing you can't tell us. What you got coming up and where we can find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram, Vanessa Bell Callaway. You can find me on Twitter, Nessa B, because my name was too long for Twitter. Nessa B Callaway. Facebook, which I hate, but I post to Instagram so you can see my stuff. Of the Facebook. I hate Facebook. I have a website, VanessaBellCallaway.com, and then I have In the Company of Friends.tv, where I have all my web series, my blog talk radio show that I did for a couple of years, articles and a lot of interesting things. And you can see my directorial tape, which Charles helped me get done on Nessa B Productions.
Shout out to the homie.
Yeah, NessaBProductions.com. And of course, I'm going back to do Saints and Sinners, the 3rd season. I did a few movies that I can't remember some of the names.
Shout out to your brother.
Shout out to his brother.
Carlo.
A couple of movies I did, I couldn't remember the names of some, thank God, but they were nice parts. And
Tuesday nights.
Tuesday. Oh, Taco Tuesday. Yeah, if you guys are like in the neighborhood here, come to Taco Tuesday, the Regency West is all the way live.
Oh, we throw a lot of joints. We throw a lot of plays at Regency West too.
I want to see you on the next season of Insecure.
Let me tell you what Issa did. I met Issa because my daughter and I loved Awkward Black Girl. I discovered online, and my youngest daughter was still home. My oldest daughter was in college, and we would like binge. We were like, oh my God! So I was at one of these Essence Women in Hollywood thing years ago, and I started saying, oh my God! And she was like this. And I was like, oh my God, can I take a picture with you? My daughter, we love your show. And I was like this huge, like crazy fan. And she's looking at me like, okay. I took pictures. This past Woman in Hollywood, now Issa is Issa, right?
Right.
And she's doing this beautiful speech and she's naming people who have touched her, whatever. And she included me in that speech.
Wow. Amen.
And she talked about how I came up to her when nobody knew her and I was like taking pictures of her. And I was like this.
Wow, I got to see that clip.
You could go and just Google the Essence of Woman. And she talked about it, and I was so flattered. And Issa actually helped me get my In the Company of Friends, my first web series. She helped me get my sponsors, Coco Fab, because she was friends with Angela Burt Murray, and she connected us, and Angela actually sponsored a couple of my shows. So Issa was very helpful. We went out, we became friends, and I don't see her much anymore, but I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
And
her show's adorable.
Regency is right next door to We Got Y'all.
Yeah. No, they kind of abused us on that, but Issa, I'm letting her go. Because they went to my husband, who knows, once again, who knows nothing, and they acted like they just wanted to shoot, like, something for a day. I was like, they didn't tell us that was going to be stock footage, honey. That was another fee.
Yeah.
But it's Issa, we going to let it go. Right. But HBO got money.
Yeah.
Right. And ain't even about Issa at this point.
Yeah.
That's HBO money. Yeah. So we was abused on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I don't know what the hell he signed. But anyway.
What rights he gave away.
I don't know what the hell he signed. It's like, you're supposed to call me on that stuff.
It's been real. It's been a pleasure. And this has been a lot of gems. I hope y'all caught them all. If not, you'll need to watch it again. It's been one for the books.
Sugar. Yeah, I definitely.
This is aired, you guys.
It's like we
live now.
You air again or no?
No,
it's gonna be uploaded to YouTube.
So these are the night.
Every podcast, YouTube.
And does it come back on at any other time?
It'll be on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay. Well, send me that stuff so I can send it out to my peeps.
Gotcha.
But hey, whoever was up listening.
Right.
Sugar, what you got for us?
Here to y'all.
Hey,
I'll just say it was a great show. I definitely took a lot of notes, so I hope everybody else did. I'll have to go back and rewatch a couple times to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Hope I didn't talk too much.
It was amazing, and we definitely thank you for coming.
No, it was just enough. I definitely thank you. I'm newlywed, and a lot of the stuff that is 6 months or something like that.
Amen.
But a lot of the stuff that you were sharing, I took in. I learned some stuff. Like I said, the missing out on certain women, powwows and learning some stuff. But I definitely took some takeaways that I can definitely use in my own life. And as my sister said, because she was like, you was dropping knowledge, she was like, that's Auntie Nessa now. So
I'm going to just say this. If you love them, honey, make it work. It's okay. Nobody has to bear the burden of whatever. See, it's no titles. Just do what you do. Everybody do what you do best.
Do what you do.
Do what you do best. And contribute to the relationship and make it work. But love and respect supersedes everything. Mm-hmm. And I always say this. If everybody gets up with something to do, you're good. The moment somebody's sitting at home waiting for the other person, you're in trouble.
Lawrence.
Everybody must wake up and have something to do, a goal and a job or something, and come back and reunite at the end. But love and respect supersedes everything. No, respect is huge in America, and communication. Mm-hmm. And just make it work. You'll make it work.
That's what's up. Monty Selena said you fabulous, by the way. She said, "Look at Vanessa looking fabulous."
Oh, I just think.
I told you look 33.
And shout out to DJ Reed. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Reed. You know what I'm saying? He's an old producer on it. So, well, you dropped the knowledge on us a lot, I must confess, but you have been our very best. And the knowledge you've given us must be from above. And this has been us from the Love Session from Poetess, Dance Hustle, Sugar, the Vanessa Bell Callaway, Vanessa Callaway, Achilles Trine. I'm about to say something else.
Right.
I am.
We're going to bring it back.
I am Doncho Detroit. This has been Love Session. This is Music Love. Poetess, cue us up.